Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a program to help you do financial analysis with a bunch of scenarios. And we've got something that basically takes a specification and then turns it into individual scenarios that we can graph. But we like to name those scenarios so we can understand the graph and what went into each piece. So we'll focus on that today. Okay, before we start for real, I took some time and installed the SwiftTesting package overnight. So SwiftTesting is sort of I think it's going to be the foundation of a new testing package that's going to release when all the stuff after June 10th week, kind of next version stuff. It was a little painful to install, but it seemed to work. So I'll let it rest there. Let me do a quick demo. And so it uses testing rather than XC test case. Your classes that hold things basically form a suite, which you can also name with that suite, but I hardly use suites anyway. So this forms a test suite, and each function in here is a test. You can use that test. You can put parentheses, and there's some arguments you can use. In particular, you can do parameterized testing with it. And then this is a function, and you use the word pound expect, which is actually a macro. And so when I run this, run tests, this will come back and tell me what's wrong. Okay. So I installed a couple packages to get this, and they're a little bit pre-release, but I figure, well, if the testing is pre-release, the app that's generated is not, so I can manage. All right, man, it's starting a little slow. I did run it this morning. I should probably track this down at some point. I'm getting a bunch of weird errors that aren't us. There's also pound require, so if you want to say, like, it doesn't even make sense to try and finish this test case, then use pound require. Okay, so we get a message back, expectation failed, bool false. They actually use a macro to tear apart the structure. So let me try a different one. Let's try foo plus bar dot to upper. Lower case dot count equals 77. Let's make it really wrong. All right, it's a little faster than the last one. All right, so basically you're getting the structure of the whole message and the value it returned. And so they break it apart a little more. It's always been one of my frustrations with the XUnit approach that I always felt like if you'd had the ability to write either a macro or a something that lets you see the code you were asserting on, you wouldn't need, I don't know, it just felt like there was a lot of overhead to it. You need all those different asserts and all that stuff. And they've taken this to heart. They just, you expect in a Boolean phrase, and if it's a Boolean composed of other pieces, they at least can tell you what those pieces are, the value of them in this. I saw another version, I thought it was this one being described, and they would actually make a little tree picture to show you what the value of each piece was. But that'll suffice for now. There's some techniques to converting existing tests to this. I can do it intuitively, but I know there's a page we can study if we get stuck. The other thing that's a little funny is it puts the test report in the file, but notice there's no aswifting test over here. It's all managed under test all, which just has one thing to do it. So the integration to Xcode is still a little bumpy. But it's coming out. I think it's going to be quite an improvement on XC test case. So I thought I'd get a head start on trying it out. And if it turns out too horrible, we'll back it out. Okay. Now, the other thing that is funny, and you may have a suggestion on this, I'm trying to run it on the command line, and it complains. Well, I've done something now. I think that shouldn't be there. Line 23. Do I have to build? Yeah, so there are no asserts. It's all pound expect or pound require. Which is fine. Okay, 23 column 5 separator. Have I? Well, I don't know what the problem is. I mean, I know it wants a comma here because, well, no, there shouldn't be a comma there. I don't know if I'm going to worry about this. I don't think I don't know if he's that or not. May have to read all the messages. Invalid manifest. Fatal error. Line 23, column 5. Unexpected comma separator. Oh, it's this one. So this one could have the separator. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but if you've got more experience than me with packages, you probably can look at it and go like, oh, of course. So the problem I had was it doesn't seem to like the path that it implied. Yeah. Source files for target should be located under tests/Fiume tests or custom source path. Dependency SwiftTesting is not used by any target. That seems funny. No tests found. Create a target in the test directory. So I don't know what that implies is going wrong. Everything in here is in the testing directory, including, well, where's the thing? A SwiftTesting test. Where's that all thing? Scaffolding. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure. This is all in the tests folder. I don't know if it wants me to put the package up, because like test, I renamed them to sources and tests to kind of match the other package stuff. But I'll move this up to the top. Build again. Yeah, that's right. I think I'm hitting a limitation of how I'm doing things, because I'm using this pre-released thing. I'm supposed to keep this package in with the tests, but then I think it's getting confused about where to find the actual source code. So we'll let that go. This is, I think we'll mostly find our tests when it goes bad. Now, what are you doing here? Preparing. I can't tell if that means you're running or not. Indexing paused. Command line is X a little verbose. Yeah, well, If it gave me exactly like which tests failed in which file, I'd be happy. But I think for us, what'll happen is mostly it's going to be the test that's in the file we're in that's going to fail. So I think we'll have no trouble finding it. All right, and this should be 6 to pass. All right, that built. Let's run tests. I may have to clear things out or something. Yeah. I think he gets confused when you move things around. Oh no, come on. That's what we changed. I think that's the same. Let's go ahead and revert. Now, how do you know that if you haven't built yet? All right, let's clear errors. No such module testing. Okay. We'll do this the hard way. Yeah, maybe I should try that. I didn't do the part. Oh man, I'm even worse off. Where they installed a new tool chain. So, but yeah, maybe that's worth trying. Okay, but this is really weird. Missing project testing. Because that's there. I don't know if this has. There's that, always used. I don't know how to configure these very well. Oh, now I did something on this. I think this is supposed to be this. Oops. I guess I should let that finish its thing first. Yeah, I don't know. I think I mean, I'm up to Swift 5.10, which they require, and the latest Xcode that's released. So maybe I'm okay. I mean, it certainly ran for me before, but hopefully this will do it. I've got no errors and starting testing. That's a good sign. We'll commit and then I'll try the other way. All right, I can edit to do though. Oops. Well, I think that was just demo of the. Okay, so that was green. Let's try this. No, okay. I'm not going to worry about it until if we start hitting it hard. I did a little research trying to find a way to specify paths and stuff, and it just didn't quite seem right. All right, so we're back to this notion of the scenarios and the names we need for them. And one of the things I realized was we don't need this scenarios. I was thinking every scenario would have to have a unique name or else we'd interfere, but we're going to we're acquiring them as you work your way down the possibilities. And so if you have the same name twice, your scenarios are going to be in the context where there's already been one alternatives block and it has a unique name, and so your second alternatives is going to be built on that name. So I don't think there's an issue with that. So that helps. All right, and it's in plan tree. And where's our tests? Okay, and I had my insight of the morning too, kind of waking up insight. Yeah, it'd be nice if we have watch mode. I'm sure we'll get all that stuff later, but, well, maybe not watch mode. We don't have that for anything yet, but yeah, a better test runner and all that will come. But I figured, well, I'm gonna have to get used to their style on the new one anyway. So let's start now. Okay, so scenarios get their name from the starting scenario. Yeah, my insight was what I should do is maybe start the initial one with just scenario. So if you only had one, it would come up as scenario. And now you're going to add one for every level. And I think what I'm going to do is add a bullet point, maybe a small dot, and then the scenario name, and then a dash and a child number for whichever alternative it is, followed by the name of the child. And so even if all the children have the same name, it'll still be, scenario Social Security 1 SS, Social Security 2 SS. So they'll be unique. Later on we can number them as well on the list of things, but I think this will get us unique names that we can reasonably easily match up to the graph, which is the big thing I want to get done really for this week. We're on track. Okay. Right. So scenarios for an OR tree get their names from the starting scenario. All right. So job 1. Okay. Yeah. So this is not what I want now. What? Oh, that's the job there. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I want, well, I have to find that small bullet. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay. Right. That's what I want with that. Job 2. 1, and then I want this to be income 1 and this to be income 2. Yeah. All right, so let's watch this fail. What did this one do? Multiple scenarios for an OR tree. Did not look at the scenario names. Okay. Now, okay, so they're coming back job 1, job 2, I assume. Right. Okay. Plan tree. So down here, we take the tile, the index. Well, I'm going to make a function. I don't know if I can extract name is the tree's name. Okay, so I really need the child, the name, and the index. Left equal child. Now if I extract this, do I get it? Oops. No. Okay. A function name all right, I want child is a plan tree, name is a string. Maybe that comes first because it's the parent's name. And index is an int. Returns a string. And I'll call it okay, should be the same failure. But I can at least get the bullet in there. Name index dash and then child.name. Okay. Oh. Excuse me. Dot job 1 income 1. Dot job 2 income 2. Aren't these sets? Dot job 1 dash space income 1 dot space job 2 space in is not equal to dot space job 2 space dash income 2. Really? It seems weird to me, doesn't it? Bracket dot job 1 income 1 Space, 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 4 spaces. One, two, three, four. Did I put, oh. Oh, actually I got that one wrong. It's this way. Yeah. It shouldn't be because they're flipped, because I put these in a set, and notice it was saying job 2 first on this one, so it's definitely treating it as a set. Okay, well, I think that's promising. Okay, so make scenario, take parent name, child index, and child name. Oh, now I want this to have a space on the front. Actually, yeah, I even have the little gray dots turned on and I still get messed up. Okay. Okay, now let's go find possibilities. So I don't know if anybody checks this, but I want to say scenario. I don't have a good generic name, but this is going to be at the front of each of those. All right, so let's see if anybody was testing it. I don't think they necessarily were, because we defaulted to empty before this scenario naming stuff. So, oh, somebody was. Okay. Name. Right, this should be scenario. Yep. Okay. A little backwards, but that's okay. Now, I don't know if we really need them even, but I think it'll help a little. Unfortunately, it makes the names a little longer, but maybe not as long as that UUID. All right, and then now let's go to our graphing, which, who does that? I think, is it unplanned tree? No. Scenario? No. I'm out of reasonable things here. Money. Well, let's look at content view. Project. Okay, so scenario network. All right, these have a name, but I think maybe we added the name but have not yet done anything with it. Project. Scenarios map. Okay, scenarios gives us scenarios. We get each one is a scenario, map it to project. So scenario.project. Result, scenario net worth. Oh yeah, there it is. Our UUID. Okay, so this is project. Oh, well, we know our name. All right, let's see. Is anybody checking this? I don't think they are. I mean, I think we've done this strictly for graphing purposes and not for any usage. Yeah. Okay, but I want a scenario to take its own name. Let's make a test. Okay, so a scenario. What does this? I think I can do this. Make scenario. Let's give it a name. Scenario name. And then we'll look in here. Scenario, wait, what's result? Scenario net worth. This is what I just called it, I hope. Okay. All right, this test should fail. Yeah. Okay. So let's change this to name. And run. All right, so that's the default name, but we're going to add a scenario. I'm going to stack up two scenarios. SS1. First stream is Social Security at $1,000 a month, starting in month 1. SS at 2,000, starting in 96. All right, and then another alternative. Oh, how do I like those already, I wonder. Scenario, this is SS2. So I'm calling everything Social Security. Let's say they get 1,200 starting in month 12. Uh-oh. Something's going wrong. And this is SS 2400 108 create. Okay. Somehow we lost the word scenario. All right, so SS2-1, SS2SS. I think that name is going to work, but it lost the unique names of the first two. Oh, and I don't know why. Okay, well, it's something in how we're copying or something. But I think the signs are there. This could be better. You can almost SS2 1 SS. That's this one. SS2 2 SS. I'd really love to have a little number 1 and 2 on these nodes here, but I mean, you're not going to have 100 scenarios. Yeah, I'm not sure why they disappeared. If you have the same name twice, it throws them off. But this should be SS1 1, SS1 2. I mean, what I was expecting, and actually maybe I've just done that wrong. That's probably what it is. I want to append these to the scenario. So I'd like this one to be SS11 SS dot SS21 SS should be the name. It should have both pieces. So somewhere I left that out in probably plan tree. When we copy scenarios to generate new ones, I may have not appended the name or something. Okay, so the plan tree. But on the other hand, it's encouraging. there's some stuff going there. All right, let's make put name in with net worth data. And we clearly are missing a test if we didn't catch this. So. Yeah, why did the green lines disappear? That is weird. Am I still running? I could try another one. Let's add to this SS again, and maybe you get 3,500 if you wait till month 200. Not true, but okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But only 3 lines, and I lost scenario dot. Okay, so the lines look, I mean, horizontal here because you're waiting and then you're catching up. I can't believe I just picked numbers that luckily all seem to converge. But maybe that's just the way it is. Okay, so plan. All right, so the situation I'm expecting is copy. Yeah. The child scenarios are going to copy the child name. I think they need to. Yeah, it was two. I think it was 2 lines so close that you couldn't necessarily tell. You could hardly tell they were distinct. It may be, but this is. I'm pretty sure this is the reason they're doing it because we created the new scenario. We ignored our own name, and we said, use the child name. But really, I wanted that appended on is my concept for it, and we haven't tested that one. Hey, I guess we don't need a lot to test it. Okay. For two nested or trees gets combined name. Okay, so now I'm going to make two separate trees. Yeah. I need to prove, well, okay. And do I have a make and? Yes. Okay. So this should give me a tree. So it's an and tree at the top, or one with one thing, or two with one thing. It's only going to generate one combination, but I want to prove that the name combines start, job, salary, income one, income two. Okay. So we give it scenario. I think we need to start with empty. Well, no, and tree doesn't contribute. Okay, so let's call this and this is start. Okay, array should have one thing in it because there's only one choice. Name is arrays. Okay, I just need array.map. His first, his name should be start job one, income one, dot job two, salary one, income two. Okay. Expected comma square. And this test again will fail. We haven't done any appending yet. And imagine it's going to have just the last part. Salary one, income two. Okay, good. Plan tree. Okay, so now the child's name is really well, it's really the scenario. Scenario name, the one we're starting with for this scenario, plus the child's name. Okay. Wait a minute. Name is the or tree, not the scenario. Okay. I think that should be better. Good. Was the long line. I didn't change that. Make leaf. And then let's repeat our manual test. This uses plain old dots. Maybe I should make a square dot instead of my bullets. All right, so scenario 1, SS. 1, create. Oh, I think the lines are converging. I probably should make these separate. SS1 starts in month 1. Because I don't want the later one to, you're not changing the social security amount, you're changing it for each person. This is also SS1. Here's 2000 starting in month 96. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. And then a new one of these. But it should be required. It doesn't have to be unique. Oh. Oh, there's only 2 scenarios so far. Okay, okay. This is SS. 2, 3, starting in month 110. Okay. I'm thinking I should maybe parenthesize the 1 or something, but yeah, you're supposed to get 4 different lines. You're supposed to have every color should get its own description or key. And even if it used the same color twice, which it might eventually, we still want unique. Right. Now, what's interesting, I mean, this obviously, if you wait the longest, you get the most money if you live long enough. And, just the way I set up the data made the crossovers pretty, I mean, 150, 120 is 10 years, so 10, 15 years down the line. And you're waiting, 8 years here. So if you caught up in only a couple of years. And I guess the little bend there is their second level kicked in. Okay. Cool. I mean, this is better. I do think the one, I almost want to use, like, you can have the circle one. But maybe parenthesizing it would be enough. I hate making it longer. But I don't think it's going to be unusual to have a number in the end of one of these names. And so that makes it look really awkward. SS12. Yeah. All right. So let's tweak those tests. I guess that's a scenario, right? No, it's Landry. And I think I want to see the test break. And we have a choice. Oh, we can break the test or change the test and watch this go. I'm going to do it this way. Because I think there's several tests, at least a couple that might be affected. 2 lines in SS1 were combined with the 1 in SS2. Yeah, yeah. It just freaked me out. Okay, I guess they were right by each other. All right, so this is parenthesized. I don't think A, B, C would be any better. Yeah. We don't need that. Okay. Now what I noticed was group or scenario name is required. Okay, generate names for nested scenarios. I believe we've done both these. Boy, I feel so much better about them too. I think they, it's much more sensible to get that trade off and look at it now. And actually, as I look at these graphs, I'm trying to pick numbers that seem sort of realistic for the way Social Security works. And that thing about the cutover kind of coming around your mid 70s, that's definitely a true thing. You if you're going to live past 75 or so, you're going to have more money in the end if you've waited longer. But on the other hand, you might have needed that money sooner, and it's your trade-off. Okay. Well, I don't think there's anything else to do on that. Let me just do a search for empty string. I don't mind if the tests have it. If the tests have it, yeah, those are good. Scenarios with empty strings on the test, yeah, that's fine. I don't think we're checking the contents of the name. That's really a kind of a placeholder. Yeah, we're really checking the net worth coming out. Okay. So with that, then I feel like we can make these names required. Oh, content view. I think we decided that was not needed. Okay. And create group view. I suppose create stream view should be the model, right? We have a name, we have a valid that doesn't let us disabled if it's not valid. I don't know why they wanted negative logic there. All right, but I think that's the best way to do it. And then we stacked Well, we need the name of the field, the binding to work with, and then maybe that name is required is the same. So if you give me name, dollar name, and name is required, I think that's kind of what that is. So I'm going to treat this as a new one of these. And all right, so this will be like a warning field, warning text field, and a message. Oh boy. Well, is it enough to be empty? Maybe it is. This is a little different. Number field. All right, let's make a required text field. Fix those prints. The value must be an Do I use binding there? Yep. Okay, so this is name. All right, and then required text field. Why? Oh. one. That's better. Okay. All right. So we we added parentheses to child number in scenario name, and we extracted required text field. Where are you uncommitted? Okay. All right, and then I want to pull this into a different file. And I've been doing this. The name is name. The contents is $name. And the string is name is required. And same thing at scenarios view. Now we don't enforce it yet on the create button. We'll get that next. All right, if you say group, name is required, scenarios, name is required, but okay. So, and again, what we did here, we defined our own valid method, returns bool and looks at the fields and decides, well, it's going to be very simple for create group view. Valid returns bool and name dot not name is empty. Unfortunately, these are kind of different, effectively different fields, but they are very similar. Yeah. I'm going to leave it more ignorant, but yeah, I might be better. All right, so if I don't have a name, I shouldn't be able to create any of these. Good. Oh, and if I do, I should. Okay. All right. Maybe we should generate that message. I mean, the default message string, well, I'll have to init. Init. Oh, I don't want that stuff. Because I want to use the name in the message, and you can't the way they initialize fields. Yeah. Unless you want to translate it. That does make it. No, I'm gonna leave it. It's a tiny bit annoying, but I think there's nothing that requires the label to really be the thing that's said. Well, no, maybe that is more than default, right? That's pretty much what it is. I mean, it's our stuff. If we start needing multiple messages, we'll deal with it. Yeah, you're right. That's better. Okay, make a mount overwritable. Well, okay, so I think this is certainly a doable thing. I think we kind of know how to do it since we just did it for the dates. We could validate this stuff. Although I think we kind of implicitly enforce that if you give a backwards range, nothing gets taken. Yeah. Okay. So that's a little bit of well, amount overwritable would be a smart thing, I think, just for the consistency of what it means to override something. Everything but the name is overridable, and if you want to change the name, you do a different name. All right, validate. That's a tiny thing. It maybe stops you from shooting yourself in the foot. Add multiple sections. All right, so that is my original vision was a baseline section, a plan section, and another section. I'm not convinced I need that sophistication yet. Validate number is valid. Well, we kind of did that, I guess, already. All right, then the next kind of medium term thing is this notion of the streams. Like we have these trees, but we don't have the ability to delete a row or move things between them. Okay, calendar view is another sort of view, and then people or assets and liabilities. Um, that's maybe more interesting for specifying things. Yeah, I mean, I would even put a message. Maybe I could just the validation is end date greater than equal to start date. Okay, that's the validation, and I think a message should just be end date must you know if end date less than start date will result in an empty range or something. Um, don't necessarily have to stop them, but just warn them. Um, on the other hand, that gets complicated because you got to worry about the combinations. All right. Another thing was, and I don't have it written here, but managed by month, year. But we talked about months as an int being really inconvenient for thinking about things. If I'd rather think about my age or, you know, in 2027, these tax cuts expire and I'm going to lose $2,000 a month or something. Um, calendar and relative calendar. Um, and I think if we get people in there, we definitely want to manage by their age. So much is. Um, hmm. I guess we've accomplished the graph thing, so that's a big thing to have done, as far as like me showing my brother and saying like, okay, let's try it and see if this makes sense to you. Um, delete streams. I don't know. Maybe the month year thing is the biggest next barrier that like we just don't think about. Month 500, month 422, month 147. They don't make sense. Even when I was looking at it, every time I did something, I would go like, oh, let's see, 100 divided by 12 is 96, 8 years plus 4 months. Um, and I don't know if the month number is the ideal mechanism for us or not. It's handy enough from the graphing point of view. Hmm. 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 I don't know if that's worth doing. People might be interesting. Yeah, warning code of the dates if they're bad. Not not impossible. So one challenge I have is, and this is more of a kind of user intent or usability challenge. Like, do you start the thing? How would you connect the user to a tree? Yeah, so what I'm thinking is you would put, well, maybe let's do that one. I think it's interesting and it enhances what we're doing and it makes this part become more meaningful too. Okay, so what I have in mind is that just like you create a stream in this create stream view, I'm going to say create a person, and really I want the name and their year and month of birth. I think we don't track anything closer than month. Now, I did look into the date picker, and the standard date picker does not let you choose month and year. It's kind of annoying. And I don't know, maybe we could just validate, like, if it's below 1900, there's almost certainly an error. I remember somebody doing data visualization stuff, and one of the things they did was plot all the birthdays in this, or the birth years in this database, and they found this cluster around 50, 60, 70, 80. And these people were not born in the year 80. Somebody entered their age instead of their birth year, or they entered 67 if they were born in 1967 or something. That stuff can get wrong. All right. Yeah. Okay. So I guess if you just have name and what we're calling kind of our date, I need a month date, a month year. Is that a thing? I want to tie those in, and then the big thing is the date specifier view is going to change. All right, because now it's just month numbers, and what I want it to become, I need to be able to select. Do you want the month number, or do you want the age? So age such and such for this person, and we would calculate that for them. If you were born in 1970, 2030, you're 60. So 2032, you're 62. So if we said age 62, that would be okay. I don't think we have to go too much lower. Or maybe we default it somewhere, but this would become more sophisticated. We have a preview. Okay. Now, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just old school. I like the radio buttons, but I would be just as happy with radio button month and then a little month number selector, and radio button month year, and another kind of selector. Now, maybe I should just let it go. I don't know. Okay, that's slow enough. Okay. So if I had a person, right? I don't think there's much to the person yet. It's right now. My concept is it's just a little data bag. What's your name? What's your birthday? And we'd let you put in 2 people. I don't know if we should put in more. If you're doing retirement, yeah, spouse 1, spouse 2 is pretty interesting. If you're doing, I don't know, planning for college, right? You're going to have the whole family involved, and this person's going to do this. I don't know. May not be worth restricting. I guess it's up to you to decide what the scenarios are. Okay. Wow. All right. So, well, person's a model. I don't really see a point in saying, here's a struct with 2 fields. Do you fill in the fields? That seems a little off. Now, a month year object that says, here's the month and year. How old are you as of today, or as of, some date? That would be okay. So let's set up the month year. Okay, so we got a new file. I don't want to use the word date because we're already in danger there. Testable import Fiume. Import testing. Struct a month, year. All right. And then the test is function. All right. So what's the test? I guess my test would be if I give you a month, year, I may be jumping ahead on the functions for this thing. My thought, yeah, streams of cut for all age and yeah, I mean, what we've done so far is we've assumed everybody just runs once you start them, and but like when we get into Social Security, the rules, it's a mess. I mean, I don't know. I tried to plot out every combination of stuff that matters, and it's like you have three kinds of benefits basically. You've got your Social Security, your spouse's Social Security, and then a survivor benefit. And if your spouse dies, then they stop. You know, their Social Security stops. But now you can either get survivor insurance or survivor security, whatever you call it, survivor benefits, or you can switch to your husband or spouse's benefit if it's more than yours. Okay. You can get up to half of it. So it's like, ugh, and how much is it half? Well, that depends on when you took yours. If you haven't taken it yet and you're over this age, it's this. If you have taken it, then it's that. If you're under this age, it's some other thing. I don't know if we can do the complexity in one giant specification in our kind of possibilities language. All right, but you're right about cutoff. That has to be on their. That's on part of their spouse information too. Okay, so I don't know what the test is. Well, no, I don't want to validate. Maybe this is premature. I have no behavior, so there's nothing to test. All right, but I can create one. All right, month, year. Okay. And I got to decide if it's zero based or what. And well, month of int and year of int. Okay, I think that's a bare minimum. All right, now let's do person. I think that's the way it's going to be. We pretty much need your birth info to do anything. Now, I don't know. We can kind of go two ways. We could do the UI, or we can do the back end stuff. Now, the back end stuff, like I want to make a rule that says Social Security kicks in when this person turns 62. So, given their birth year and the current year, I can tell you if they're 62 or not, or I can tell you what date they will be 62. That seems, well, that's involved in the month calculations. I should be able to turn that into a month relative to the start of the system. Okay. Well, let's take a break. It's a close enough. We'll come back. I'll make a quick decision about what. Well, maybe not so quick, but we'll decide whether to look at the UI first or try and incorporate it. I'm inclined to get the UI in there just to deal with the stuff in that. Okay, but anyway, 3 or 4 minutes and we'll tackle that. Welcome back. All right, so we've introduced 2 classes. Let's get those checked in. All right, so the sort of end-to-end activity. I don't know why I can't keep these in my head enough. Create. Where are these called? Now this thing's running like anything. Create group view. Add plan view. Okay. Right. So I want another thing that's a person is different than a stream. There's going to be, well, I don't know if the word stream is good. It's the best I've got right now. But let's add person. Okay, now something should complain on the build side. Looks like there's a red bar down there. Right. Okay, so we haven't defined what to do for person. Okay, and this is going to look a lot like these others. guess we'll need all that. Okay, we need access to the plan. Why don't you have access? Name is name. Where do you think you are? Yeah, it's in the folder. Oh, I can't show you, but it's in the folder with all these other views. Oh, you wake up? Cannot find. Well, once, hopefully he'll be a little better off in a moment. Okay. Create person view has to have this stuff. This is weird. Did I just edit the wrong one? Cannot find create person view. This is so weird. Switch in case. Case should align vertically with the closing brace. Create person view with plan. Cannot find create person view. Looks the same to me. And what's this? Preview not supported for tests. This is add plan view. He's in the Fiume project. I don't know why the index is rebuilding. That seems unfortunate. And 350 files, it's not me. It's rebuilding the Swift stuff. Sorry, I'm going to look at this again. Show and Finder. Okay, here's view. Add plan view, create person view. And he should have access to the model. I mean, this certainly does. He's using clan composite. Did I not do bindable? Bindable var plan. State private var name. Previews not supported. That's kind of what I expected. It's losing its mind. All right, are you running? Okay. Now I should have person here. There's my text person. And person view has access to these things. Okay, why? And plan view. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm going to quit Xcode. I don't see what this would have to do with the testing stuff. They're going to show up just like any other row. I mean, obviously, you probably will put them in first, and but you don't have to. I mean, you could simulate, adding baby number 3 or something. What is your problem? And if I do this, oh, he doesn't find it. Where's add plan view? He's right there. Create person view is a struct. Create person view of view. Previews not supported for Fiume tests. I don't think I say anything about testing in here. Okay. Take this out. Make sure I create it and it goes in the right place. New file. Swift UI view. He's in the view folder. In Fiume. Okay. Yeah, some sort of glitch. Yeah, I don't even understand. Like, what's testing got to do with it? So it was getting confused over something because it thought we were in a test package. Oh, okay. Right, so now I should get person as an option. Name is required. All right. So I don't know why stream comes up first. We must have defaulted it somewhere. Oh. Picker still segmented. For each type in all cases. Add type equals person. Excuse me. Right. Okay. And we can decide the balance later if the order should be different. Good. All right. So now we got create person view, and he's supposed to append something. Well, he's really going to append a leaf. We don't have a leaf for it yet. All right. But he's also got more fields. Okay. And let's make this a month year view. And when it's in state, okay. Oh, why are you confused? Like any of these, they'll. Well, add plan view can go away. Create person view. Cannot find type month year. Maybe he's just confused because of this. Okay, so this is name, birthday. Death day. I don't know, is death day a real word? Maybe it's born. Okay, month year view does not exist. Name. Well, labeled content. Yeah, last selected tab would be nicer, wouldn't it? I don't know if my month view. I think it needs to be just the bare minimum. All right, no, can't find month year. Stop what you're doing. Clear all issues. Clean the build folder. No such file. Cannot find type, month, year, scope. And these things, what the heck are they? Derived data. No such module, Fiume. He's really confused. And a rebuild did not seem to do it. Now, I think this error is a consequence of this one. What the heck? Month year. Let me stop this simulator. Maybe there's something weird. Make sure that's in the right file. monthyear.swift. I'm going to put him somewhere we know he can see him. Create person view. It's private due to protection level. Missing parameter born. Private protection level. Okay. Extra targets at positions 1 and 2. Month review, name, field. Now he's not complaining about this. Monthly review, sure. Extra arguments, position 1, 2, and call. Insert argument from parameter month, year. Well, okay, that one is wrong, right? That should just be this. Month year view should be. Oh my. All right. Let's try cleaning again. I was helping somebody else today on a similar thing that the view complains about these weird things when it's really some other problem. Okay, so clean test results. Clean build folder. I don't know if this indexing being not ready is screwing things up. You know, that's progress. Yeah, we got that in the wrong file. Let's find that number separator one. Okay. Have I got this thing upside down? Where's my rotate? Okay, I don't know why. Okay. So, person, okay, just get hello world for now. Right, okay, let's see if we can get this year thing back in place. Month year, let's show in Finder. Month year is sitting right next to money in my folder, so. Is my file not added? Swift source, yes. Relative to group, I guess. Oh, look at that. He put him in the tests. All right, let's see what this guy did. Create person view. Month year view. Okay. Bizarre. Okay, well, that explains why it didn't like. Create person view. Or why he was giving that weird message. I want to look at this number separator. It's in my Swift lint thing. Yeah, I really trust myself on that one. I'm going to make my little house style change here. I was hoping as one you could say number separator equals 4 or 5 or 3. Not a lot of those. Okay. Yeah. Is there a way to create a picker within columns? Yeah, I don't know. I know the date picker does not let you choose which columns to use, but um, you would think the picker would allow it. All right. Still building. Huh. Yeah, let's go look at that. Cannot find month here in scope. Default wheel picker. How do I get a wheel picker? um, it's a lot of fooling around. All right, tester green. All right, I think, I don't know if that, I don't know if this is worth the effort. Does it have to be the same time? Yeah, that's not going to quite work, is it? Oh, so pulling the, oh, updated interior switch UI. Okay. For each picker. Yeah, I think that's what the other guy was doing too. But the way the other one was doing it required all your data to be the same type, and I've got numbers and strings, so I'm not quite as willing to do that. I can't tell if that's required in this one though. Self-subdata.column entry. So they label this one 1. Yeah, they're all the same types too, but maybe we could just deal with the fact that it's hard coded. The geometry reader, it's really this. Yeah. I suppose that would be kind of okay. Well, that's kind of what he did here, isn't it? He's plopped them in strings. But I think I don't need the loop, right? I could just make my own selectors on 2 separate things. Okay. I'll take this for a base, but I think okay, so I'm going to make month is the kind of data. Let's just do a couple and get them started. Our year is, I don't even know what to do. 1920 to 2050. Okay, I don't need the for each. So I don't need that. Picker with a string data and a selection of the column. Selection is array of entry. seems harder than it needs to be. No, they do drop those all in. Okay. Okay, so the first part of the picker is the name. I guess year first. Does that make sense? Well, yeah, the year end year could be anything, right? It's, right. Somebody born today easily make 2100. I most likely won't. Okay, so self dot selection dot selected flavor. Private var. I'll get you somewhere, I guess. Okay, so year selection is selection subcolumn. What are they doing there? Is that gonna work? Okay. Non-constant change. Sort of looks like an integer range. Yeah, that's gonna be. I think if we start at 2000, you can go up or down and you'd be okay. Just to get moving here. All right, so why can't I do this? Do I have to make an array out of it? It doesn't seem like... do that? It's just the year doesn't like it. This maximum for each flavor, not all cases. That's an array of strings. I suppose I could do something like that. Three. Notice we don't put a tag modifier in. Right. Must be an interliteral. Sorry, excuse me, just 1 minute. I go through this all the time with these. They want constants. Must be a literal. All right, I'm just not going to worry about it. Now, why is that? Why is that working there? He's got private var, and yet this just goes off that. But we want the index. Private var. Less than colors.count. Selection index, which is our month number rather. Okay. Default to 0. I don't know why he doesn't just put the brackets there, but we can. Colors.count. Content is index in. Well, no, let's call it index. And that's a yellow. Let's check the preview. Oh, there's a bar there. Month year view is inaccessible. Private protection level. It's sitting right there. Month year. That's the thing I need binding. Everything else is defaulted. Oops. Month year view has the binding with month year. Make sure it's not an overlap of names or anything. Month year view initialized inaccessible due to private protection level. Binding, this is not private. I mean, I can give it an init, but it seems ridiculous. Make sure he's not. Whatever. Get all these things over time. Okay. Oops, need to pass in /.self. Okay, well, that's a little promising. Okay. We'll put them in a space. Yeah. I think if they were stuck in a space the right size, we'd be okay. I don't know what's up with this. I could probably hard code it. Put the rest of them in. Okay. Not ideal. Reopen, I guess. Okay. That's not what I wanted. All right. Well, we can pick up there tomorrow. I think we're close enough for this. I think this is tolerable. I mean, you're going back. If you're going back 40 years, that's 3 pulls. There's no. Yeah, there's a little bit of spinny. Yeah, Swift doesn't like things dynamic, but why this example didn't complain? I thought it was a relatively new date. No, it's not. Okay, maybe 3 years ago it was a little different. But I think the solution to say put 2 columns together, I think you're right. I think that's a pretty good little component for selecting these things. And we'll integrate that in tomorrow. Well, maybe a little cleanup and then integrate that in tomorrow. It'll give us what we need to create the person view. So I think we can get that together, and then we'll have to add it to the tree, and then we'll have it in our thing. And it won't affect any analysis or anything, so we'll be okay. They use self in the for each. Oh, maybe that was it. Self in the for each. I don't know. The original one, maybe. All right. Well, thanks for joining today. And we've got the graph stuff working pretty good. Well, at least they got names that seem much more reasonable, and get these people in and make dates depend on them. I think we'll be at a nice little place with that too. All right. Have a good night. Back tomorrow, 2 to 4:30 and Eastern time, or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. Okay. Oh, the other one. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Good night.